The best and the weirdest news from the year 2024. This is Jonesy, the host of Weird AF News. I have put together a two-part series for the end of the year. I put together what I thought was the weirdest stories from 2024 here for you to enjoy. This is part two. Here we go. A police officer dressed up as a sex wrestler in order to trap a suspect. Can you imagine going undercover as a sex wrestler? Today I learned that there are sex wrestlers. I had no idea. Kinks, man. Kinks. We have here a Thai police officer. This is in Thailand. The officer dressed up as a BDSM sex wrestler to fulfill the twisted request of a suspect that was wanted over alleged sexual crimes. Now, this is exactly what you want in a police officer, this sort of dedication. This Thai police officer dressed as what's called a BDSM sex wrestler. Has anyone ever heard of this? He dressed as a BDSM sex wrestler named Big Bear. Hilarious. He had a wrestling name? I was going to guess he had some maybe different wrestler names, maybe like Sergeant Pat Me Down. I wonder what his finishing move was. Probably I don't want to know his finishing move, and I definitely don't want to see it. He dressed up as Big Bear, the sex wrestler, to entrap a suspect wanted over alleged sex crimes. Police Captain Ponlawat Nakthomya and his colleagues had been hunting this sex crime person, Su Jing Rui, age 31. They were tracking him, but were unable to pin him down in Bangkok. A female decoy was initially used, but Su, who was from China, pulled out. Pulled out? That could mean so many things. Pulled out and said he would only meet if a bizarre fetish was fulfilled by a heavy-set wrestler. Okay, so the female was she's like, I'll wrestle you. And he's like, I want a big bear. I want a big hairy one. I want a big man that can really put me in a headlock. You know what I mean? No pun intended on that headlock line. All right, so after the female officer couldn't get in with him undercover, Mr. Ponlawat, the captain, agreed to the dangerous mission. The female officer set it up. She told Sue that she had an amateur wrestler friend called Big Bear, and they agreed to meet at a hotel. Oh, I can satisfy your kinks, sir. It just so happens I have a friend called Big Bear. He's a sex wrestler. He's into it. He's going to give you what you want. I wonder if this other cop just couldn't wait to bust out this getup here. Guys, this looks like it's going to be a hard case to crack. I really think now's the time to try out my sex wrestler outfit. But, Captain, this is for speeding tickets. Yeah, I think it would be appropriate in this case to dress up as Big Bear. For the case. Yeah. Just for the case. Strictly professional. I'm doing this for the job. Why do you have a Big Bear wrestler outfit? No, never mind. Never mind that. So the meeting took place, and hidden camera footage shows the dramatic moment Mr. Ponlawat opened the door in a black singlet and a Satan mask. There's a photo of him. Yes, he's a bear. He's a big bear. And I don't know what the Satan mask is all about, but maybe that's part of the getup. It's part of his wrestling character. The wrestlers always have to have a character. Okay. So when he opened the door in the black singlet and a Satan mask as the wrestler Big Bear, this prompted an exciting howl from the suspect. I'd like to hear that howl, to be honest with you. In that context, that might be pretty funny. On second thought, maybe I don't want to hear that excited howl from the suspect when he saw Big Bear in his singlet. Seconds later, armed police hiding in the wardrobe leaped out to bundle Sue onto the bed and handcuff him. I like that they used the verb bundle. They bundled him. You mean you cuffed him? You hogtied him? They bundled him on the bed, and I'll bet he let out another excited squeal while that was going on, because it just seems like that's his category. We got a quote here from the Ponlawat guy. He says, I laughed when I was asked to wear the wrestling costume. I thought it was a joke at first, but when they insisted, I realized it was very real. I understood the seriousness of the situation because the suspect was wanted for crimes against women. I agreed and did my best to work with the team in order to catch the suspect. Officers detained Sue at the local station where he was hit with a barrage of alleged evidence. He was grilled over alleged upskirt pictures that were on his cell phone, complaints of some groping, and one count of some date rape. This guy he's doing upskirt pictures. He's going on date rape incidents, groping, and meeting up with sex wrestlers, male sex wrestlers. He's just like, he's got a problem. It's appropriate that they're getting him off the streets. It says Police Captain Ponlawat was very nervous, I'm sure. Or maybe he was having fun. Maybe he was, could be either one of those things. It says he was safe, though, the entire time. The team had 6 armed officers in total on the premises. They were planted in a wardrobe on the balcony and outside the door. It says here the officers will be commended for their work. And once again, we're learning about another fetish here on Weird AF News. I'm bringing a lot of these sorts of kinks to light, introducing them to a wider community. I'm not proud of it. This is just what's happening in the world of weird news. Who knew? I've never heard of the sex wrestling thing, but I do have a personal story of someone that I know, a woman who was, her friend hired her to, they were doing this not undercover, but it was underground boxing of men. They boxed men. Men wanted, this is in New York City, men were paying to box a very attractive woman in a bikini. So someone I know very well agreed to do this, and she did it once, and it was kind of normal. She said she just boxed a guy. The second time, the boxer asked her to hit him in the junk and other things, and she was pretty horrified, and she never did it again. So that sort of stuff is happening, apparently. I never see it. I just sometimes hear about it. I don't want to, but I have to, and I have to report to you. It's just part of my gig. An Indiana judge has just ruled that tacos and burritos are actually sandwiches. That makes sense, because whenever I think of who should be an authority on Mexican food, I think a guy in Indiana. Who else? A judge in Indiana should decide tacos and burritos are sandwiches. Probably is going to tell us that pizza is toast as well. Is lasagna cake? Oh, I can't wait for the ruling. Fort Wayne, Indiana, a judge in Fort Wayne, Indiana, has just ruled that tacos and burritos are sandwiches. How, bro? How are they sandwiches? They're not even close. A torta is a sandwich. Do you not know that the torta exists? A torta is a sandwich. A taco and a burrito are not a sandwich. There's something behind this. Maybe he was bribed by Quiznos. I don't know. Is Quiznos out of business, though? Maybe he was bribed by Taco Bell. All right, apparently this all comes down to some sort of restaurant zoning situation. I read the paragraph, and it's hard to understand. There's a commercial developer named Martin Quintana who's trying to do a zoning change for a strip mall, within which is a restaurant. Had to get the neighbors' approval. There's some sort of condominium next door. Now, we also have here the famous Taco Mexican Grill. You guys know the one east of Glenbrook Square Mall in Fort Wayne. The famous Taco Mexican Grill. They wanted to expand into the strip mall, apparently. Quintana made plans for the famous taco, the famous one, the famous Taco Mexican Grill, Glenbrook Square Mall. You guys know the famous one, right? We've all been there. Where the tacos surprisingly appear to be sandwiches. They serve them with a pickle on the side and chips. They made plans for the famous taco to open in the Quintana Plaza strip mall. The neighbors cried foul. They didn't want this. I guess they didn't want the famous Taco Mexican Grill to move in next door. I don't know why you wouldn't want to live next to the famous Taco Mexican Grill. What's wrong with these residents? I would want to live right next to it. I'd be eating there every day. I would eat a burrito sandwich all the time. Okay, here's the contention. Apparently, the wording of the approved amendment to the restaurant was such: a sandwich bar style restaurant whose primary business is to sell made to order or Subway style sandwiches, which by way of example includes but is not limited to Subway or Jimmy John's, but expressly excludes traditional fast food restaurants like Arby's, Wendy's, and McDonald's, provided that any such restaurant shall not have outdoor seating or drive-through service. For the avoidance of doubt, the sale of alcoholic beverages is expressly prohibited upon the real estate as well. And now we have the judge that ruled on Monday that
the famous Taco Mexican Grill. You guys know the one that's at the Glenbrook Square Mall in Fort Wayne. The one that serves those awesome taco sandwiches, the BLTs. The judge, Craig Bobe, ruled that this restaurant would be permittable and the commitments don't need to be amended. So basically what he's saying is this famous taco restaurant can be inserted into the area where a sandwich bar style restaurant has been approved as a primary business. We also have the owner of the strip mall, Quintana, saying that tacos and burritos are Mexican sandwiches. And then in the ruling, the judge actually writes in the ruling, the court agrees with Quintana that tacos and burritos are Mexican-style sandwiches, and the original written commitment does not restrict potential restaurants to only American cuisine-style sandwiches. My goodness, what next, Judge? Are you going to call salsa Mexican ketchup? I mean, where are we going to draw the line here? Strangely, the judge was very silent on hot dogs, which is still a mystery. Can anyone? And another mystery is, are chicken nuggets boneless wings? Ooh, this is an ongoing debate as well. I don't agree with this. Tacos and burritos are Mexican sandwiches. I've already mentioned earlier in the segment, the torta. That's a sandwich. None of this other crap is sandwiches. The definition of a sandwich, here we have it here. Food consisting of two pieces of bread with meat, cheese, or other filling in between that can be utilized as a light meal. Utilized as a light meal. I love the phrasing of that. But yeah, I agree. 2 pieces of bread are required. This is the argument about the hot dog, because it's a bun. It's not so is a hot dog a sandwich? Oh my goodness. This debate has been raging on for decades. But no debate whether a taco is a sandwich. No debate further whether a burrito is a sandwich. It's not even close. A burrito is completely wrapped up. It's enclosed. You can't even see the ingredients of the burrito, which on all sandwich, that's a characteristic of every sandwich, is you can see the ingredients. You can see what's in between usually. And, the higher you stack them, the more you can see what's in there, which I like mine stacked. I like the old the little club sandwich, although I take that middle piece of bread out because it's too much bread. I don't need the third piece of bread. I'll take that up. I do like the extra bacon and not too much mayo. I'm trying to cut down on the mayo. A burrito's a sandwich. Get out of here, Judge. Maybe you guys agree or disagree. Call the show, 646-450-2012. Make your case. A man wearing a kilt put antiques in his rectum and then put them back on the shelf. This is according to the police. We have here Michael Vest. He was arrested after the 60-year-old kilt-wearing man in Texas was caught on surveillance footage from an antique shop. Allegedly, he was grabbing items off the shelves in the antique store and placing those items inside his rectum before returning them onto the shelves. How'd you like to be the employee that witnessed him doing this? Sir, there's a price check scanner right over there. You don't have to do that. Putting antiques up his butt, eh? Well, you've heard of antiquing, right? Well, there's ass-cheeking, I believe. People are into these colon collectibles, crevice collectibles. We could go on and on with the puns, guys, but I'll save you the torture. All right, let's dive into some of the fascinating yet ghastly details about this man wearing a kilt. What else is he going to wear, though? I mean, it's either a miniskirt or a kilt if you want to easily put antiques in your butthole. So this guy was doing it. You can't do it with pants, guys. You can't, quote, try out the items if you're wearing pants, unless you take them to the changing room. But last I checked, antique stores don't have changing rooms. I'd imagine in various Salvation Armies and Goodwills, he took some of the items into the changing rooms. So would you like to bring into the changing room? Yeah, I have 5 of these objects that I got in the electronics section I'd like to bring into the changing room. The changing rooms are for clothes, sir. It says here, authorities received a call on Thursday, February 15th, from multiple concerned citizens regarding an adult male who they said was observed selecting various items from the shelf at an antique mall outlet and placing the selected items into his rectum. The constable said, quote, well, the male was observed removing the items and placing them back on the shelves. in what I would call the strangest hobby I've ever seen in my 3 decades working on the force. Well, in this guy's defense, how else is he going to find new sex toys? I mean, Amazon doesn't exactly tell you, will this fit in my butt? You can't even ask them that before. So you got to go out in the field. It says here, a probable cause affidavit was obtained. They identified some of the items allegedly tainted by Mr. Vest's actions, including the following items: an antique bottle opener, an antique tobacco tent can, not sure what that is, a restoration hardware piece, doesn't say the size of that, I'd imagine it's quite girthy, and an antique makeup brush. He was just, he wasn't putting that in his rectum, he was just cleaning up the area following the removal of the restoration hardware piece in that moment, is my guess. Oh man, you can't make this stuff up. Now, get this. The incidents allegedly occurred at not just one antique shop, 2 different antique shops, the Antique Gallery of Houston and the Curiosity Shop, both of which are in Spring, Texas. Per the affidavit, the owner of the Antique Gallery told the police she witnessed Mr. Vest pick up the makeup brush and a hardware piece, quote, shove both items up his anus, then return the items to the shelf. Both items at the same time? Or was it one at a time action here? She said the value of the damaged items was approximately $130. The owner of the Curiosity Shop reported to the police that she had reviewed security footage showing Mr. Vest doing the same thing with the bottle opener and the tent can, noting that her property damages amounted to $74 total. Now, both of the owners of the antique shops claim they had to throw away all of these items that were involved in the activities due to them being, quote, tarnished in a particular way. We don't have to get into the details of that. We can imagine. Now, I hope you've reviewed all of the surveillance footage to find all the items in question, because you can't put it past this kilt-wearing fella to put any and all items that are smaller than a jukebox up there. Employees are going to have to be using gloves from here on out, I'd imagine, to handle anything. And I think at the end of the day, you know, the worst part about this is the cultural appropriation. I mean, does this guy have to wear a kilt? How insulting to people that wear kilts out there in the world.
Yay!
A 9-year-old boy missed the school bus and stole his mother's car to get to school. A California police officer got a shocking surprise when the car that he was chasing came to a full stop. Behind the wheel was a 9-year-old boy. Where was he going? Was he chasing Pokemon? No, he was making his way to school. Here's a quote from the officer Terry Dunn with the Oroville, California Highway Patrol. Just shock. Several other officers showed up as well, and it was kind of one of those no one really believed it kind of things. So several other officers showed up to the scene just to see, in fact, that it was a 9-year-old driving this vehicle. We couldn't believe it. Officer Dunn noticed that the car stopped in the middle of an intersection. He got on his police squad's PA system, ordered the car to pull over. Instead, the boy drove down a side street, made his way through an intersection, through a parking lot of a gas station. Navigating his way through the gas station, he made his way over through a dirt road parking lot and then stopped. Officer Dunn pulled up behind the car, and then the 9-year-old boy backed the car into Officer Dunn's patrol car. This kid, well, he doesn't know how to drive, really, I assume. Maybe he's been taking mom's car for a spin, but only been doing it at night, and no one knew. And now he was like, this daytime driving's hard. There's more cars on the highways. Here's another quote from the Officer Dunn. Well, a few seconds later, I did notice a little head bobbing inside unusual. Exited my patrol vehicle, made an approach. As I was walking towards the car, I could see a kid, which turned out to be this 9-year-old child. He stuck his head out the window, said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get to school, officer." Well, it seems to me that he wasn't lying. The school was right next door. Yeah, so we actually called the school, contacted the principal, who contacted the parent, and everyone showed up at the scene. Our officer Dunn is very happy and pleased that no one got hurt from this incident. Very lucky. He says it should serve as a lesson to keep car keys out of your children's reach at all times and teach your kids the importance of driver safety and driving laws. Hopefully a lot of other people take this to heart and learn from it. So hopefully this doesn't happen again in the future. Just maybe talk to your kids about the dangers of driving a vehicle and what could possibly happen. This story has a very positive, happy ending. According to Officer Dunn, no one was hurt. Not a single person was run over, nor any pets. And in addition, this young 9-year-old actually got to school despite everything. This guy was like, I'm getting to school, hell or high water, I'll tell you. Imagine Mr. Bus. Well, Mom keeps these keys around here somewhere. I guess he doesn't have a bicycle. It's a crafty guy, man. Hey, this kid's got goals, and he wants to achieve them. I mean, wouldn't you love it as a parent to have a child that wants to go to school this badly? I mean, I never wanted to go to school. I hated it. I hated waiting for that bus. I hated getting out of bed. If I missed the bus, it's, I missed the bus. What a shame. What a shame. I guess it's back home for me. Oh, terrible that I missed the bus. I would never then go and steal a vehicle or any mode of transportation to get to the school. I'll tell you right now, this kid's going to be in demand when he gets to school. What a badass, and everyone's going to know about it. And he is going to have the pick of any girlfriend he wants at that point. Who's not going to want to be with this? This guy's like the Bruce Springsteen of the highways filled with broken hills and oh, no, I think Thunder Road is more appropriate. Oh, Thunder Road. How does it go? What else can we do now? Except roll down the window and let the wind blow back your hair. Well, the night's busting open, these 2 lanes will take us anywhere. We got one last chance to make it real, to trade in these wings on some wheels. Climbing back, heaven's waiting down on the tracks. Oh, come take my hand. Is this it? I think that's it, right? An Amazon tribe is upset that Elon Musk's Starlink has exposed their members to the internet and porn, basically. It says Elon Musk's efforts to bring internet access to a secluded Amazonian tribe have completely backfired, according to the tribal elders who blame social media and pornography for tearing their community apart. Now, this is terrible. You got a whole tribe here. They're supposed to be hunting and gathering, but instead they're watching porn all day. This might be a dumb question, but what category do you think they watch? Is there one? Is there a one called elongated necks? I didn't see that. Tribal porn? How are these scenes start? Is there tribal porn out there? I would imagine they start pretty funny, you know. Oh, I need help carrying this basket. Oh, it's on my head and it's so heavy. Help, I fell into a hole. Ooh, could you get me out? Step chieftain, what are you doing? Tribal porn. Well, if it doesn't exist, they're probably going to make it now. Yeah, that's what they're probably going to be doing out there, the Amazonian tribe. I'd imagine. Oh no, this just blew me away. They have internet now in the Amazon, which means, oh my God, they can order Amazon to be delivered to the Amazon. Mind blown! Now, it says 9 months ago, the arrival of Starlink, Elon Musk's internet service, brought the web to the remote Marubo tribe along the Itui River for the very first time. This has caused a bitter rift within the 2,000-member tribal community between those who wish to keep the community free from the clasps of technology and those who are ready to embrace it. Tough to not embrace it, at least in my experience. The youth will want it. What the youth wants to, once the youth gets a taste of the outside world, it's tough stuff. The Marubo are a tribe with their own language. They consume ayahuasca. Oh, ayahuasca, for a spiritual connection to the forest and They trap spider monkeys for food or companionship. Spider monkeys for food or companionship. That's a very confusing gig for the spider monkey. Hey, man, am I your buddy? Am I going to hang around your neck, or are you going to put me in that bowl? Like, what are you going to do? I need to know. Are we going to be companions, or are you going to eat me? Wow, it sounds to me like there could be some pretty wild spider monkey Instagram posts then, pretty, or completely devastating and horrible spider monkeys. This is my spider monkey friend. Now I'm going to fry it. Before I went on that spider monkey tangent, because it surprised me, I wanted to mention that I have been to the Amazon and I have done the ayahuasca, and it did give me a spiritual connection to the forest. And on ayahuasca, I didn't even need social media. It was pretty cool. It was a nice night. A few nights. I actually barely recovered. Centuries of isolation, with some villages a week's journey away, have safeguarded the Marubo's traditional tribal way of life. However, since September, high-speed internet access courtesy of Elon Musk's project has changed it all. Some might say ruined it all. There is a quote here from someone named Senama Marubo, age 73. Wait, the same last name as the tribe? The Marubo tribe? Do they all have the same last name, Marubo? Oh, that's going to be difficult for the Amazon to deliver. That's going to be... I could package it from Marubo. Yeah, which one? There's 2,000 of us. Yeah. Can't say it. Here's a quote from Senama Marubo, age 73. I'm going to do an old person impression. When it arrived, everyone was so happy. But now things have gotten worse. So much worse. The young members have gotten lazy because of the internet. They're learning the ways of the white people. But please don't take our internet away. Wait a minute, but please don't take our internet away. Oh man, even a 73-year-old's addicted. This person admitted that it's making the young people lazy, but still doesn't want it. They still can't do without it. I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard. Once you watch Iron Chef, like, what are you going to do after that? Imagine them watching Iron Chef, seeing all the food go to waste. Oh man, it's wild. I mean, the internet's going to shock you if you live in a very, I was going to say rural community, but I'll just say tribal community in the middle of heck and nowhere. Okay, it says in the 9 months with the web, Marubo, they're facing the issues that have plagued American households for years. Teenagers constantly on their phones, gossip-filled group chats, addictive social networks, online strangers, violent video games, scams, misinformation, minors viewing pornography. Goodness. Probably going to bet on the upcoming NBA, even though they have no idea what the NBA is. Oh, and imagine the TikTok challenges that are going to be coming out of the Amazon. I can't wait to see these jungle TikTok challenges, to be honest with you. How long can you balance on a spear? It says, bypassed by the gradual integration most societies experienced, the Marubo and other indigenous tribes, long resistant to modern influences, now face the internet's potentials and pitfalls head-on. This sudden encounter sparked a critical question. How will the internet reshape their identity and their culture? Well, it's going to, I mean, the internet's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's going to bring some problem-solving behaviors and offer solutions that lead to problem-solving behaviors, and then it's going to bring on problem-creating situations as well. I sound like an idiot right now, but there's an idea in that. You know what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword. It's good. It has good things and bad things about it. I can fix anything in my kitchen by watching a YouTube video. Also, I can just read an article about that I didn't plan on reading, but I came across my eyeballs about tiny little mites living in my eyelashes, and then I'm freaked out for the next 3 hours, and I can't concentrate on anything else. I mean, it's both things. I can watch YouTube videos and documentaries for free. I love that, but also people write terrible things on my YouTube's videos, that, especially my stand-up YouTube videos, that make me hurt inside. That's the internet for you. And there's obviously concerns, especially with the youth, who are probably going to stop hunting and gathering and start influencing. Once you see how much work it is to hunter and gather. You see, the rest of the world isn't working that hard. You're like, why am I doing this? I'm gonna do some influencing. I'm gonna get on OnlyFans or Only Jungle, Only Amazon. There's got to be one. It's kind of like that. And of course, the porn. Just like the rest of us watching porn. I mean, I don't even. Who knows if they're watching? I'd imagine they're just watching it and just making fun of our genitalia is what they're probably doing. Right?
Let's rock.
A football coach, a stripper, and an emotional support monkey. The Texas Longhorns coach Jeff Banks married his girlfriend Danny Thomas, who is a stripper known as the Pole Assassin. The stripper known as the Pole Assassin owns an emotional support monkey who she uses on stage sometimes. This is pretty crazy. We have a football coach, a monkey, a stripper. Sounds like the beginning of a new pandemic. Let's find out if this is safe and good for the rest of the culture. Says here, Banks and Thomas tied the knot over the weekend in a ceremony that appeared to take place in Texas. It was an incredible 72 hours with the family and friends and a monkey. And I'm sure there was some strippers there. Fellow staff members at the University of Texas posted pictures of this happy couple, the Pole Assassin and the coach, on their big day. The Pole Assassin, pretty known after her appearance on Jerry Springer with her pet monkey, Gia. It was alleged that Gia had bitten a child in a haunted house that she set up outside for Halloween. Did I cover that story? The stripper and her emotional support monkey biting a child during a haunted house scene? I think I did. It says here the emotional support monkey, Gia, has a very popular Instagram account. Probably got more followers than me. And I'm the one grinding away in a closet all the time. What does this monkey have to do? Just hang around with a stripper? Some people got the best life. I want to hang around with a stripper and have her pay for all my meals. Gia is an emotional support animal, quote unquote, and has been used alongside Thomas during her performance when she was a pole dancer known as the Pole Assassin, which sounds pretty awesome. If I'm having a birthday party and you're like, Jonesy, for your birthday, we got you the Pole Assassin, I would be like overjoyed. I don't even need the monkey on the side. Just give me the Pole Assassin. What a name, the Pole Assassin. If you think that's not a cool nickname, then wait till you meet her sister, Glitter Tits. That woman's got it going on. So stupid. This story is wild. I'm not even sure I should have covered it, but just the title just grabbed me. It was so... God bless America is what I thought when I read it. God bless America. The only country where just true freedom reigns. You just do whatever you want. You want to marry a pole assassin with a pet monkey? Just go for it, man. You know, when our forefathers created this great country, they envisioned a place where it was truly free to express yourself and to live the life that you want. And, you know, I think they'd be so pleased to hear about this one. Now, I know some of you probably listening outside of the States thinking, how do I get over there and live the life that I want? Yes, figure out a way to get over here and live the life that you want. You don't have to be struggling all lonely in your little corner of the world without freedom. Come over here. Come over here. You don't have to cover yourself up. You can get married to a burlesque dancer called Chainsaw Thighs, who's got an emotional support pelican. Live it, man, is what I'm saying.
A school in Oklahoma is under investigation after a toe-licking fundraiser. Well, you know, there's not a lot to do in Oklahoma. Why not have a toe-licking fundraiser? Am I right, guys? My school used to wash cars to raise money. You know, some schools lick toes to raise money. Licking toes. All right. But before we judge, you know, maybe they had to figure out which toe had the roast beef and which had none. We have here an Oklahoma high school reportedly under investigation after students were filmed licking peanut butter off of people's toes as part of a fundraising event. It says people's toes, so just random strangers' toes. Could you line up for that? Hey, is this the line to get my toes licked? How much is it? $5? It's not prostitution if you call it a fundraiser, apparently. We have here students in a high school. We have ages 9 through 12 at the Deer Creek High School. These students apparently volunteered on Thursday to participate in this unhygienic stunt, a video of which was obtained by the media. The video blurred out some of the individuals to protect the privacy of these students, but it began circulating on social media over the weekend, and the video of the students licking toes incited outrage and some questions from some parents about how the toe-licking fundraiser was even allowed in the first place. Well, that's easy. One of the administrators has a foot fetish, clearly. Check the laptop on that guy right away. A toe-licking event, don't they know? This is how you get athlete's tongue. Everybody knows that's how you get athlete's tongue. Or can you get like mouth-foot fungus? Is that a thing? You can get some toe fungus in the mouth, I'd imagine. Wow. Unbelievable. Last week I covered a story where a teacher brings swords to school for the kids to battle. This week we're covering a story about the students licking toes at the school. And it was approved by the faculty, obviously. How do you guys send your kids to public school? How do you do it? You know, when I was a kid, we looked at the homeschool kids. We were worried about them. We're like, oh, those kids that were homeschooled, gonna be pretty weird when they grow up. Well, yeah. You could say the same thing about these kids that were put in public school. Yeah, they're going to be weird when they grow up as well. We have here now a unnamed parent of one of the students at the school who was surprised at learning about this toe-licking event from their child. She said, whenever she told me yesterday that this fundraiser was happening and what they were doing, I had to ask her, wait, what? They're licking peanut butter off of each other's toes? What? Come on, what? That's right, honey. They're licking peanut butter off toes. Your tax dollars hard at work in Oklahoma. There's a superintendent here named Ryan who responded to this disgusting incident on social media. We are cleaning up this filth in Oklahoma schools. Our agency is investigating it as we speak. Good. They should get to the bottom of this and make sure that licking toes isn't a thing that's allowed at schools. I thought you weren't even allowed to bring sunscreen to schools. Now you're allowed to lick each other's toes, apparently. This was all for a fundraiser, they say, where they raised $152,000. They raised $152,000 licking toes in a matter of days. $152,000? That's a lot of money, man. In less than a week, I need to start licking some toes. Bro, this podcast in a closet is not working out. I need to open an Only Toes account and make some real ducats. $152,000 raised. Wow, that just shows you how many people out there enjoy watching teenagers licking feet. Sick individuals here. They're handing over their money. They raised this money for a restaurant chain called Not Your Average Joe Coffee. This Not Your Average Joe Coffee apparently works with students and adults with intellectual, developmental, and physical disabilities. Well, that's a nice cause, working with people that have intellectual and developmental disabilities. It sounds to me like the members of that faculty have some intellectual and developmental disabilities as well. Maybe we should get them some help. And the kids, of course, are going to need some help. Even if you weren't involved in it, if you witnessed it, you're going to need some therapy down the road, obviously. Now, the school's defending the activity, saying that all of the students involved volunteered for the toe-licking activity. They signed up for this ahead of time. Oh, so you're off the hook with this? I mean, how does this even move forward, man? If you're like, hey, we need to raise some money. Should we bake cookies? Maybe sell some chocolate bars? Nah, how about we hold a toe-licking event where the students lick their toes? No, I don't think we need to get on the news today. And then they were like, thumbs up to this. Let's just move forward. What could possibly go wrong here? The Deer Creek School also is emphatic in saying that, hey, none of the faculty or staff participated in any of this during the fundraiser. Oh, so you just stood around and watched? All righty. Bunch of lunkheads, man, I tell you. Another parent is quoted as saying, well, I think it's really great that they raised a lot of money for a good cause, but doesn't sound like they really thought this thing through. Yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah, they definitely didn't think this through. What's wrong with you? Are you okay? Not only is this like completely unhygienic and disgusting, think about what you're teaching the kids. Yeah, you could just make a quick buck through the exploitation of your feet. And they wonder why they don't want to work real jobs. They just want to get on OnlyFans to make a quick buck. I don't have any kids, but I'd love to hear from some of my shocked parent listeners about this incident. Call the show 646-450-2012. I've got toes in different area codes. I got toes, delicious toes in different area codes. A man is arrested for having sex with a train seat on the Metrolink. I guess this guy literally rode the train. Stories out of St. Louis, Missouri. A week after being released from jail for some sex offenses, a man is accused of having sex with a seat on a Metrolink train. St. Louis County prosecutors charged 38-year-old D'Angelo Antoine Covington. That's a great name. He's charged with first-degree sexual misconduct, and he's in the county jail on a cash-only bond situation. The courts have ordered him not to be allowed on the train if he even gets out. I mean, you can't really allow him to go anywhere if he's having sex with a train seat. What else is what's off the menu for this guy Covington? I'm sure trees he'd be into, park benches. Never mind the living organisms that are within his grasp. I love how we love to solve our problems in the most reactionary manner in the U.S., just not really getting to the root of what's going on. This guy's arrested for humping a train seat, and now they're like, all right, you're not allowed on any more trains. Like, like he's not going to go into Walmart and hump a tricycle. Like, what do you... It's like the way we have to take our shoes off to get on the plane. You know, one guy uses shoes for a bomb, and now we're all taking our shoes off. If someone wants to put a bomb on the plane, they'll find another way to do it, bro. Are you stupid? According to a St. Louis County Police probable cause statement, we have some details here. A Metrolink driver parked the train at the Lambert Airport Station and stepped off for a few minutes. When he returned, Covington was on the train, allegedly engaging in sex with the train seat with his genitals exposed. Yeah, that's usually how it happens. The genitals are exposed. He's obviously got a problem here. I mean, who looks at a train seat is like, oh, look at that sexy-ass train seat there. Oh, tell me that train seat don't want it. Looking all worn, but still soft in experience, and definitely has had a lot of ass. The driver, get this, the driver continued on the route, kept driving as the defendant continued his activity until he deboarded the train at the Hanley station. The defendant's activity is all captured on video surveillance, and a moment of silence for everybody who had to witness that, and the train conductor. Strange the train conductor just didn't stop, called the police, just kept going. The train conductor's like, hey, look, I don't want a Metro kink shame. If this is his thing, if he's a train sexual, let him do his thing. Police say in the statement that Covington was arrested for assaulting a nurse at the jail as well. Okay, so this guy needs to be wrangled and probably shouldn't see the light of day anytime soon unless you can... I don't know. What do they do? That they do the forced castration thing. That they do that in certain states for child molesters. So it sounds to me like would be something that might solve this problem. I don't know, but there's also something going on in his head that's not okay either. And I can't wrap my head around what's going on in his head, and I don't even know if I should try. It's a strange world we live in, guys, and I don't know if I understand it. But people like this don't obey laws. I mean, you know, because we probably need some laws to protect some of the inanimate objects that are getting molested all over the world, and we don't have such things, really. Not that they would work. This guy's out there touching anything. Oh, this feels like warm apple pie. Oh, this feels like warm apple pie. Oh, my God, this fire hydrant, just like warm apple pie.
A bar had to be shut down over chickens and cocaine. Man, these pop-ups are getting out of control. A chickens and cocaine bar. I've never heard of that. Sounds like the funnest bar ever. Come for the chickens. Stay for the powder, guys. Call it the old coop and toot. Add this one to the Stranger Than Fiction file. We have here a Milwaukee, Wisconsin bar that had to be closed after authorities found a very strange combination, a little strange combo of cocaine and live chickens inside. This sounds like it might be the sequel to the Cocaine Bear. You got Cocaine Cock, Cock-a-doodle-doo, Cocaine Cock-a-doodle-doo. Cocaine Cock, I got to tell you, it's not scary at all. It's a bit of a limp idea. But there's just levels of weird AF news, and if you know, you know, guys. Stick around for the jokes. You read this right, the article says. You read that right, chickens and cocaine. It's a better party than chickens and waffles. The bar is called El Cielo. It's become internet infamous after the Milwaukee police conducted a raid and stumbled upon pure, unadulterated chaos, is what they're calling it. Along with what you typically find at a bar, they found some live poultry wandering through the bar, as well as a bowl of cocaine. A bowl of cocaine? Well, a whole bowl. Okay. Well, the cocaine can be excused, but the poultry, come on now. You can't have poultry wandering around in your bar. I would categorize that as rather foul in general for a bar scene. What led to all this insanity and the discovering of cocaine and chickens in a bar? Well, the reports say that shots were fired, and that led police to investigate the bar. Well, yeah, I mean, you got to have guns involved. You have cocaine and chickens, so obviously there's got to be guns. They found the kind of scene you could imagine in your wildest dreams, according to police. They found a bunch of chickens and cocaine. Yeah, it's you can change the name of the bar to Powdered Pollos, maybe. No, that's not that great of a name. Maybe you can think of a better one. The story doesn't end there. It says social media has had a blast with this, with jokes and memes and just overall disbelief. It's one of the zanier stories of 2024, according to this article. I don't know. It's pretty zany. It's not one of the most zany stories of 2024. I host a Weird AF News podcast every day. I could tell you what the zanier stories of 2024 are. It's not this. This is weird, though. The article says, seriously, though, despite this wild story, it does raise concerns about animal cruelty and other illegal activities occurring in public places. The author says, I hope the chickens are being safely relocated somewhere other than a bar. I want to know what they were doing with the chickens. Was it just for fun? There's got to be cockfights going on in there, I'd imagine, right? Drugs and guns and cockfights in a bar in Wisconsin. That seems to make sense. It really doesn't make sense. This would all make sense if we were reading about like Argentina or Colombia, but this doesn't. It's hard to wrap your head around with. So what would the chickens do? Do they make free range chicken right there for football Sundays? It says that said, the next time you're in Milwaukee, look for the more traditional bars, or at the very least, look for a spot where you won't have to dodge poultry or wonder what's cooking in the back room. This author isn't so funny. But probably makes more money than me, so what can I say about it? Let me click on another one. Same story. Let's get some more details. I still want to know what's going on with the poultry, the chickens. I mean, we know what's happening with the cocaine, although I like the idea that it's in a bowl. That's a lot. I assume it's a lot to have it in a bowl. Like a mixing bowl? Imagine a mixing bowl of cocaine. Okay, this other article has some more details. According to the police report, officers recovered cocaine, drug paraphernalia, of course, drug paraphernalia, a suspected drug sales ledger. Oh, they had a ledger of the drug sales. You're not supposed to write that down, you dummies. Come on now. And certainly don't accept drug sale payments via Venmo. You got to go recordless when it comes to this stuff. They also found 9mm cartridges, Uzi 9mm. Chickens were also located in the basement of the tavern. Up to 4 chickens apparently can be kept on residential property in Milwaukee, but you need a permit if you want up to 4 chickens. And the chickens can't be in your basement or inside. They must be in outdoor coops. We're just learning the chicken protocol in Wisconsin. Can't obviously have over 4 chickens in a domicile, certainly not in the basement of a bar. They interviewed the bar owner. I think I just hit puberty there. You're welcome. His name's Ruben Coyotl, and he was interviewed. He's accused of shooting a gun out the window, which is what brought the police to the property in the first place. You don't want to be blasting your gun at the bar that you own. It's going to raise eyebrows. People are going to come by. They're going to find your chickens. They're going to find your bowls of cocaine, sir, and your Uzi 9mm. Now, this guy Ruben denied that it was him shooting the guns. He said it was a random person on the sidewalk out in front. Nah, dude, you got to say it's off your property. And then Ruben also said the bowl of cocaine that the police found inside the building was not his. I do not claim ownership of that bowl of cocaine. You should. It makes you look like a fun guy. You're going to get a lot of invitations for Christmas and New Year's parties. He did admit to the media he was raising a couple of chickens in the basement near the beer storage. He explained he planned to eat them. That was it. So nothing exciting about what was going to go on with the chickens. The exact quote from him is rather funny. When they asked him what he was doing with the chickens, he said, quote, "For eat." They're for eat. And what about the cocaine? For sniff. For nose. For late night chicken cooking. He says he lives in the bar upstairs above it, so it's his house, and he was keeping the chickens in there to eat. All right, that does kind of make sense, but you got to keep him in a coop outside, guy. Now, the local council in the city voted to revoke Rubin's license at their meeting on Tuesday, and the chickens were taken to the Milwaukee area domestic animal control by the police. One was euthanized because of its condition, and the other was returned to Rubin's. So he got one of his chickens back, but I'm going to guess he's not going to get his bowl of cocaine or his drug paraphernalia, and no more bar for him, sadly. Because it sounds like the funnest bar in the area. You know, if someone's like, "Hey, you want to go out? We're going to go to TGI Fridays or the chicken and cocaine bar." I'm going to the chicken and the cocaine bar. Why would I go to TGI Fridays? A Florida man dressed in a bowl onesie tried to burn down his ex-lover's home with pasta sauce. One of the greatest titles ever of a Florida Friday story, I think. A Florida man dressed in a bowl onesie tried to burn down his ex's home with pasta sauce. So many questions, so much to unpack here. How do you burn down someone's house with pasta sauce? Where exactly did he get a bowl onesie, and why did he leave the house with it? And then, of course, there's the Jerry Springer portion of the story. Like, what went down with the lovers? Why did it come to this? To the point where one of them was like, "I'm going to burn down your house with pasta sauce." Very coincidental that I've come across two Florida stories that involve burning down a loved one's home. This one's very special because it was pasta sauce was involved in trying to burn it down. I don't even know how you burn down a house with sauce. I guess it's pretty hot sauce. I guess it's very hot sauce. It's like Frank's hot sauce. I put that shit on everything. Okay, let's try and unpack this. My head's already hurting trying to take in all this disastrous information. Two Florida men were in trouble. Derek and John. They're in their late 30s. They were caught red-handed with pasta sauce. Is that a joke? They were caught red-handed by police when they attempted to break into a home. The men tried to steal a flat-screen television. Sounds like they actually not just attempted, they got into the home. They tried to steal a flat-screen television before leaving a pot of ragu sauce and a washcloth near the stove in an attempt to start a fire. Okay, let me break this down for a minute. Okay, so they had a pot of ragu sauce that they turned on the stove to make it look like the homeowner was cooking some sauce, and then that's what started the fire. Make it look like an accident to cover their tracks. Are you guys aware of what ragu sauce is? We're talking marinara here. You know, tomato sauce. Some people called it ragu sauce. I don't understand what that's all about. There was a brand called ragu sauce, but why would you call? There's so many brands of marinara. Why would you call all marinara ragu sauce? I disagree with this choice. You know, although I'm guilty of it sometimes. I'll call most tissues. I'll call Kleenex. Instead of saying like, "Do you have a tissue?" I'll say, "You got a Kleenex?" I will do that. That's when you know you're kicking ass in the corporate world, when your product is the go-to label for it, you know. There's a lot of other instances like that. Anyways, these dummies are calling marinara sauce ragu sauce, which, by the way, ragu is a very low-quality marinara sauce. You know, my Italian grandmother, if she knew that I had some ragu sauce, she would... I'm going to get an earful for one, among other things. She might hit me with the kutala. That's Greek for spoon, I believe. Okay, back to the story here. We have the victim alerted police to the break-in when his residence's security system notified him of some motion inside the house. Officers arrived at the scene. The suspects were seen attempting to flee the residence, I assume with the flat-screen TV. He said he believed that the victims placed the ragu sauce near the stove in an attempt to make it look like he left the stove on. Here's a quote from the victim. I've let him use my car for 4 months. Maybe he's angry about that. Or maybe he's angry because I gave him $150 to fix his teeth. Okay. I don't know how you're going to get your teeth fixed for $150. But I guess if you do it Florida style, on a back porch, serviced by a doctor or a dentist who's lost their medical license recently, then I guess $150 will get you somewhere. All right, I'm hungover, but I'm trying to find motivations in here. Like, what? This isn't making sense. He says, I've let him use my car for 4 months. Maybe he's angry about that. Why would you be angry about that? That doesn't make any sense. If you didn't allow the person to use the car, then they would be angry. Maybe want to burn your house down with some marinara sauce. Or maybe like he let him use the car for 4 months, but he promised to let him use it for 8 months. And then, or maybe he's angry because I gave him $150 to fix his teeth. That's another. Well, I mean, maybe $150 wasn't enough to fix the teeth, and it was an insult. Maybe this is sarcasm that I'm reading as far as the response goes. I can't. I'm trying hard to wrap my head around crazy. I try to do it every Friday. I don't get very far. Okay, another important detail the victim told the police was that one of the guys was dressed in a bull onesie. You guys familiar with what a onesie is? It's like a one-piece garment that children wear. It totally enclosed, the sleeves and the leg, all one piece. Usually very plush and soft, and with a hood. And sometimes the hood will have something cute like a cat face, or in this instance, I'm assuming it's a bull on the hood. Why you would wear that to a robbery, I'm not sure. Why only one of the guys would wear it to a robbery? I imagine there was a conversation before the robbery with one guy that was going to wear the bull onesie, tried to convince the other one to wear a bull onesie as well. Come on, man, this will help us in the robbery. First of all, it's very comfy. If you're going to rob a house, you want to be comfortable. Also, when the police come, we can just get on all fours in the front yard and pretend we're animals. They'll never know. We'll just get on all fours and just go. Hey, the police are like, someone reported a robbery here. I don't see any robbers. I just see 2 bulls in the front yard. They're purple bulls. I don't know. Anyone at the station want to verify whether bulls can be purple? The victim said he believed that the individual placed the ragu sauce near the stove in an attempt to make it look like he left the stove on. Here's a quote from him. He was trying to make it look like I left the stove on, but who gets up at 2 a.m. and fixes sket? Sket? Who gets up at 2 a.m. and fixes sket? Is that short for spaghetti? Who does that? What am I dealing with here? These are like, you call it ragu sauce and you use the phrase sket? Oh my goodness. Obviously, these aren't Italians. Police say the suspects said they knew the victim due to past sexual encounters. Did all 3 of these people having sexual encounters? The victim told the media, it started out as a relationship that lasted about a week. I let him use my car for 4 months. I gave him $150 to fix his teeth. Well, that's a nice thing to do to someone that you were only in a relationship with for a week. I mean, you let him borrow your car. Lovely. I mean, it wasn't like the victim wasn't trying to make this work, That's the thing. Lending him the car, trying to get his teeth in order. Just trying to do good things in the world, and this is how they repay you. You show up at my house in a bull onesie and try and set it on fire? What's wrong with you? And this is the end of the article, and what's really befuddling me is that there's no mention of narcotics in this entire... And how are there no narcotics involved in everything that went down? I mean, if anything, test the guy in the bull onesie for drugs. That's going to be positive. I would also check that ragu sauce for some meth as well. A man was arrested and charged after pouring whiskey into the holy water during Christmas Eve services. Well, everyone's got a holiday tradition, all right? I'm not about to yuck his yum. You know what I mean? And by the way, since when is it a crime to make Christmas Eve service not boring? Am I right? Bless me, Johnny Walker. Let's keep reading and find out the details. I want to know, which church was it? And was it single malt? A Maryland man, this took place in Maryland. He was arrested and charged Thursday after authorities in St. Mary's County said he walked into a church's Christmas Eve midnight mass, poured whiskey into the holy water. Well, I don't see the big deal. Nobody complained when Grand Master Jesus turned that water into wine, so why the hubbub? This guy's just trying to make it fun. Now it's extra holy. Mwah-ha-ha-ha. This guy's name is Thomas Campbell Bowling Von Getz. What a name. What a highfalutin name. Thomas Campbell Bowling Von Getz. Do you know Thomas of the Von Getz family? Very, very into his whiskey. Brings it everywhere. Pours it into the fountain in the town square. And once in a while, we'll bring it to church and help everybody enjoy Mass much more. Yes, 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 yes. It says Thomas disrupted Mass at he went to 2 different churches in the county. Now he's really just trying to spread some joy, it sounds like. Hey, the devil's got to have hobbies. Are we sure this is not the devil himself just going around? Sounds like something the devil would do. He went to 2 different masses at different churches on Christmas Eve. The first was around 5 p.m., according to the sheriff's office. Von Getz entered the Holy Angels Catholic Church during Mass, approached the altar, dropped an onion in the aisle. An onion? The Holy Onion. I've never heard of this as part of the Christmas Eve Mass. Maybe, then again, I didn't go too many times. Maybe I missed out on what the Holy Onion is. The sheriff's office also said that Von Getz was disturbing the peace of those in attendance. A congregant, never seen that word before, a congregant, then escorted him out of the church, but Von Getz was equipped with even more produce, and he was prepared to use it, according to the deputies. Wow, this guy's got produce weapons? What's he doing? He's got his own holy hand grenade in the form of a mango. Outside, Von Getz threw the following produce at the congregant. They use this congregant word, this congregant. You mean someone at the congregation is a congregant? Oh, I used to be a congregant. I'm glad I'm not anymore. I don't regret no longer being a congregant. Outside the church, Von Getz threw the following produce at the churchgoer. Tangerines. That's it. Just says tangerines. Dropped an onion in front of the altar and threw tangerines outside the church, which the sheriff's office say amounts actually to assault. You could actually assault people with produce, in case you don't know. And my guess is you can assault people with whiskey, which we're going to learn about those charges. I'm curious as to what they might be. It says later that Christmas Eve night. Okay, so he wasn't arrested following the tangerine assaulting. The drive-by fruiting, as was it Mrs. Doubtfire who said that? Later that Christmas Eve night, deputies say Von Getz went to midnight mass at St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church in Leonardtown. Once again, poured whiskey into the holy water. This time threatened to harm the parishioners. Let's find out if he was armed with more produce, if he took a spin by Kroger. As congregants there escorted him out, Van Getz tried striking them with his whiskey bottle, according to the sheriffs. By that time, he probably drank a bit of that whiskey, I assume. He was extra excited and, ornery. Thank God he didn't have any more tangerines to throw at the congregants, because tangerines, as you know, are the gateway to honeydew melon violence, and we can't have that at the church, not on Christmas Eve. It says the parishioners were able to detain Von Getz. Funny, they've changed it from congregants to parishioners halfway through the story. I'm grateful for the change. It's easier to say. Parishioners were able to detain Von Getz until the deputies arrived. He was then transported to a hospital for some medical evaluation. Thursday, the sheriff's office charged Von Getz with several crimes, including assault, disorderly conduct, threat of mass violence. That's funny. Threat of mass violence. Yeah, because that's like a pun. Did they even know that they did that? That's hilarious. Also, defacing religious property. So I'm assuming that's from the onion and the whiskey being poured into the holy vessel. I don't know what they call that thing where this guy poured the whiskey into the holy water vessel. Just trying to make a holy roller hot toddy. I've had those before. Very good. The funny thing is people don't drink that. They just touch it with their fingers and put it on their heads. So, I don't know. I assume he's aware. He seems like a regular churchgoer. He must be aware that they don't drink that water. They just put 2 fingers in or 1 finger and touch it on your head. Maybe he was just he thought it was a big gag. Just going to give everybody whiskey fingers on Christmas. That was a big joke for him. Forehead smelling like whiskey. Oh, there's a few more charges here. Defacing religious property. Religious crime against a group. Never heard of that one. Obstructing a religious exercise. Never heard of that one as well. So they just put the word religious in there, and I think you get more penalties for that. Although you really shouldn't be charged any more. These are tax dollars that go towards your processing, and the churches don't even pay into those taxes. So why should they get, more bang for their no buck? I ask these questions on Weird AF News, and I'm right to do so. All right, well, Vaughn Getz is being held for an appearance. We'll have to do a follow-up story and find out what happened to him. All of this is makes me just want to go back to church, man. It really does. It was never this exciting when I went. Hello, my friends, loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thanks for spending the beginning of your 2025 with me. Put together these 2 episodes that I thought were the weirdest stories of 2024, along with the help of my intern, Alex. So shout out to Alex. He helped pick some of these weird stories from 2024. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe next year I'll put it to a vote. We could all get involved and vote what were the weirdest stories of the year 2025. I don't know. I'm probably going to forget I said that. So moving all along here, I want to give thanks and praise. We have some new patrons. Yes, a couple people joined the Patreon. TC and Brittany Ziegler joined the Patreon. I believe this is a couple, and they're fans of the Weird AF News podcast. And not only that, supporters, big-time supporters, and they've stepped up their contribution and really shown a commitment to supporting Weird AF News by joining the Patreon, which is the ultimate. That's like buying Jonesy a couple coffees a month for life. Yeah, you're in for life. I'm just kidding. It's a subscription program, though. You can end at any time. If you feel as though that you're not getting 100% satisfaction out of the Weird AF News podcast. I don't know what you would expect out of the Weird AF News podcast. I'm a guy in a closet, so just for context. Anyways, shout out to TC and Brittany, who they don't judge. They're like, we like this guy in the closet. We're going to support his ass. We feel like even though you only have a closet and you don't have a real studio, that you should not give up on your dreams. They feel like, even though you make a few $100s a month off your 5-day-a-week podcast, Jonesy, and you get a lot of people giving you crap for it with bad reviews online for something that is totally free, they feel like, you shouldn't give up. You should just keep going, and we're going to help you pay the electric bill for this podcast. TC and Brittany Ziegler sound really cool. Anyways, there's a photo of them here. They look like they're very happy. I need to hang out with these people. Probably Canadians is my guess. Anyways, if you want to show support like the Ziegler duo here and join the Patreon, it's pretty easy. Just go to patreon.com/weirdafnews, and that'll do it. You could sign up there. Also, you could just go to my website, weirdafnews.com. That's another way to do it. Very, very easy. And when you're on weirdafnews.com, you can also buy me a coffee if you feel like I need it. Some of you might think I'm too overly caffeinated, but hey, guys, come on now. Let's just keep it going. The guy who wrote Sherlock Holmes, he was powered by cocaine. That's how he made all that great stuff, So, just like, I don't know his name, but anyways, I just know he did a lot of drugs when he wrote those. Anyways, just like him, Arthur Conan Doyle. Yeah, that's his name, Arthur Conan Doyle. Doyle, was he an Irishman? Probably. Anyways, just like Arthur Conan Doyle, ACD is what I call him. We're good buddies. We go way back. Me and ACD. AC, not to be confused with ACDC. That was a... all right, I'm gonna stop. Anyways, what I was saying was just like ACD. I do a stimulant infused piece of artwork. Mine's not really art like his is, but it's very lowbrow art. You can't even really probably categorize this as art, I would say, right? Would you judge it as art? I don't think so. Anyways, we have a lot in common. If you want to keep me caffeinated and keep me going, just go to weirdafnews.com and support the podcast like the Zieglers do. All right, end of the year rant is now over. We'll see you tomorrow for Florida Friday. Here's my email, funnyjones@gmail.com. If you come across some Florida news, weird Florida news from this week, please send it to me. Or you can slide into my DMs at funnyjones as well. 2 shows this weekend, Thursday night tonight, Laugh Factory Long Beach. And then Saturday I'm doing a show up in near Six Flags. What is that area called? I forget what that area is called. I should know this. I have a cousin that lives there. Anyways, whatever that city is, I'm having a brain fart. I'll be up there. It's all the information's on my Instagram at Funny Jones. That's where you can get it all. If you're not on Instagram, what are you doing? Just get on Instagram. Don't be stupid. Bye.